everybody. Welcome to Super Soldier Talk. My name is James Rink, and we have a very exciting show. We have Raw Cloud with us here today. So thank you so much, Raw. I really appreciate you taking up your time out because I know we had a different timing. But all right, so Raw Cloud is a secret space program asset for the Navy Secret Space Program Alliance. He was also in Project Montauk, where he time traveled in the Psychic Super Soldier program. Raw Cloud is currently still active in the off-world mission where he was age regressed back to the age of 17. Raw Cloud attempted to go AWOL off-world, but he's here now to share more about his time in these military programs. Today we will be sharing more about how he was transported aboard a Tic Tac UFO and taken right outside of Earth atmosphere at a huge, crowded, cloaked Navy docking station. So he has done missions for the Galactic Council on Mars, where he rescued brainwashed Nazi children, and he was also recruited to join a professional remote viewer group. So welcome to the show, Raw. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, James. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you so much for coming on here, and thank you, those of you in the audience listening to us. I appreciate such short-term notice because, anyway. But so where should we even begin with this story here? So, how about this? When did you first realize that you were in these projects?
Well, it goes back to when I started awaken. I began to awaken with sleep paralysis and having a lot of panic attacks. Then I began to try to break and figure out what was going on with me. I was in and out of the hospital with these panic attacks, and then I would get flashes of these dark beings like the Greys and the Reptilians would show up. Now at that time, I had no idea what these beings was. I had an indication of what was going on as far as these movies. I didn't know if this stuff was real or not. So once I started breaking and fighting back these sleep paralysis that I would go through, then my subconscious would begin to show me things. Then I started finding out about the higher self, and that too would show me a lot of the past life memories that I obtained. But one of the programmings that I was under, it started back when I was on a Navy vessel, and I just all of a sudden came out of this trance, and I saw that I was on this obstacle course, training, running, and I looked over to my left, and then I saw 3 Navy officers at this screen on the wall. Then I was back out, and then I was back into waking up at home. So, but that kind of threw me off. Then I started fighting more of these sleep paralysis, and I began to gather all of these memories from these projects. Now, the one mission that I went on as far as with the Navy, and of course I had a best friend as well that was in the Navy, and we will go into these projects of the Navy, having these what I consider a series of these military missions. And I remember one mission we went on, and it had to do everything with the
You still there? Did you freeze?
Oh. Yes. Was that on your end or mine?
It was on. I think it was on your end. Could you repeat that again, please? Oh, are we getting interference?
I think we are getting interference.
Okay.
And this is the kind of stuff that happens once you start talking about these projects. You will have these type of interference. Now, like I was saying, with the let's go ahead and start with the Tic Tac. Let's start with that, and then we'll go into.
Well, actually, Rob, could you back up? Were you in the U.S. Armed Forces?
No.
All right. So
I got it. Yeah, I have a buddy that's in these projects. As far as he is a actual Navy soldier, so he's actually in the now with these projects as well. But as far as me, I came in just like Max and James did. Max Spears and James.
Castle. Castle.
Yeah, yeah. So we all funneled in under these projects as well, as far as with the Montauk, and then got shipped off to these other projects within the Navy and the Air Force and all these other projects.
Oh, okay. All right. So, why do you think the Navy would have chosen you? I mean, did you have a relative in the United States Navy, or what do you think?
Well, my father, he was in the Navy. He started as a Marine officer, uh, did about 4 or 5 years of that, and then went off into the Navy. Now, those once he got into the Navy, he kind of shut down and didn't really want to talk about what happened. He said a few things about what happened to him as far as within these Navy projects, and then they were all dark too. And this was back in the early days. My father now is about 80, 84 years old. So he started way back when these projects were going on within the Navy. And it has a lot to do with the Montauk and the Philadelphia projects as well.
Very good. Yeah, my dad was U.S. Navy, 67 to 69. So I was not in the U.S. Armed Forces, but I've noticed that a lot of people that were in these projects do not necessarily go into that particular trajectory. Uh, okay, so uh, uh, I guess we can maybe make a connection that perhaps your family being in the armed forces brought you into these projects. I'm guessing, did you have any special, unique abilities as a child that might have made you a target to be recruited? What do you think?
All of that happened at an early age, and this had to do with the soul mission that I was going to come in with. At the time, I had no idea about these bloodline families and how everything had to do with that. So they already know when you begin to before you even born, you come through this net uh, in Earth atmosphere, and you have a unique spiritual signature, and it carries high vibration, and they're able to tag you once you come through the net, and they will find out who the mother and who the father is, and once they establish that, then the grades will come out because they already know about you. They already know your level of spiritual abundance because you're bringing that down through like from your past lives and all of this other connection that you have, spiritually gifted. So when 7 years old, I noticed that I would get visited by these beings, and I would get floated out through my window and then up into a craft. And I got triggered years ago because you know how the grades work. They will take you, then they will wipe your mind. That's how they operate. All of them operate, whether it be negative or positive. They all wipe your mind. So once I got triggered by a memory, it was of me being 7 years old, between the ages of 7 and 8 years old. I noticed that I was on a metallic table and I only had my underwear on, and I can see myself crying, thinking that this was going to be the last time I see my mother. And this female gray. Now you can't tell the sex of these beings because how they are built, but this female gray, she stared into my eyes and she told me that I was going to be okay. And then That's pretty much what they look like. But the head on one of those beings was just almost like a oval shape. And so when she looked at me, she expressed so much love and compassion for me. Now, at the time, I didn't know if this was real love or false love. And we all know that some of these grays do have compassion, but some of them have what we call a false sense of love and compassion for, whoever that they encounter with. A lot of it's just false love.
Yeah, this was Christy drew this. I got abducted last Wednesday, so yeah. All right, so we know. Let's get that out here. So we established that the Greys were interested in you. I'm guessing there's probably a bloodline connection even before, not just related to your father's military service. Um, do you know anything about your genetic background that they might have found interesting? You think?
A year before my mom passed away, uh, my brother and my mom told me that they entered the home, and she was in her 70s, and they were still interested in my brother and my mom. My brother was 24-hour care for my mother, and when it came to me, I made sure the doctors and all her appointments stayed up to date. As far as with the human district, but my brother told me that one night he had came out into the living room, and you know how it goes. We're just spiritually drawn to certain things. We don't know why. We get drawn to do certain things or check out certain things, but that was one of the indications that he too was psychic as well. He was drawn to go out to the living room for whatever reason, and then he spotted two tall grays, and there was three smaller ones. One of the smaller grays, I'm thinking, had to be one of their hybrid children, either my mom's or my brother's, because that's just how they function. Um, they had to have portal in. They didn't just go through the front door. They used portals to portal in. So, but one of these grays were fascinated with my mom's chair because my mom, she couldn't really walk, and she had a special chair that lifted up her or reclined her back, pertaining to her comfort level. And my brother said that the small gray was just standing up on the chair, just jumping up on it as if they was having fun. So he other room and just was telling my mom what was going on. Shortly after, he said that there was a huge knock on that door, the bedroom door, and it scared them both. And after that, they don't remember what happened.
All right.
So yes, it's definitely bloodline.
Okay. So, do you think they started off a trajectory while you were a child? I know you mentioned 17, but do you think they might have taken you younger and you did 20 back, sent back? What do you
Oh
think?
yeah, most definitely. I first started getting visit at a small age, but but that memory only goes back to about 7 to 8 years old. Uh, but of course, you already know they're already watching the parent as she's pregnant, so they was already watching my mother, and they probably did the same thing with her, and so on with the grandparents. It's like I said, they are looking for a genetic strain to create hybrids, hybrid children with special, unique powers, and those powers are going to come from your past lives. They are looking for unique abilities to obtain for their genetic line.
Okay. So, when did you first become aware that you had special abilities or gifts?
When I was probably about 4 years old, I would didn't have friends at that age, and I wasn't in school, so and I was the youngest child of seven, I was the youngest child of seven, and my mom would, go to sleep once all the kids were out of the house and at school. She would go to sleep, and it would just be me and her. I had nothing else to do, so I would look out of my mom's bedroom window, and I would communicate telepathically with birds. I would communicate telepathically with squirrels, and I would get them to do certain things. If there was a bird that was standing still, resting, I would ask that bird to go ahead and take flight for me and come over, and it would. Same thing with squirrels. I can get squirrels to come up to me, and they weren't afraid. And we're talking about wild animals. That was the first memory that, and I thought it was natural. At that age, I thought everybody can do this.
All right. So I guess we can go to. So when do you think they first took you? Was there like a period of your childhood that you had a section of missing memories, maybe from the age of 7 to 9 or something like that? What do you think?
Like I said, I would go through a series of sleep paralysis, and it would start at a young age. And when I would break out of these sleep paralysis, I would notice on this part of my hand there would be two needle marks right there. I used to think at that young age that maybe a snake bit me, but I later found out this was an indication that the reptilians would, symbolize that they were taking me as well. They would show that the two viper strikes right there in the center of my hand, and then I would see uh, triangle marks on my foot, like also needle marks, but they would be like in the shape of a triangle, and that was an indication that later I was finding out that I was being taken and probably being implemented into these projects.
I was just trying to find some pictures. Yeah, I've got lots of examples myself. I totally understand. So we're assuming that the Greys are abducting you, probably because maybe you're part of the reptilian experiments, and the Greys are like they're robots. Do you feel like that you are maybe part of the more negative programs, or maybe this is more of a positive group? What do you think?
I think what the reptilians was trying to obtain is what this same thing as the Greys were trying to obtain. I think they were at the genetics, and of course the reptilians also use you in projects as well. Now I have not retained a lot of the memories of these more negative projects, but I've been in battles where I'm fighting with positive groups, and I think back when I was 20, I was a newlywed, and I was probably about 22 years old, and my wife she was 21, and this was probably a months after we had got married, and I worked third shift. I've been working third shift for a very long time now, over 23 years. So I was laying down one night, and I already knew about these psychic abilities, but had no recall of being in these military projects, nor did I have recall of working with the galactic councils. I had no recall of that stuff. I knew there was things that was going on. I was fighting a lot of these negative that come and visit me when I was in sleep paralysis. But the one time I knew something was majorly going on was when a reptilian showed up into my bedroom. And this was a hooded reptilian now. This is a hooded reptilian. And this reptilian had some sort of long, long device, almost like a wand. He had this long device. And that was what put me under paralysis. Now, I was heavily into martial arts. I was into Kempo, Taijutsu, assistant instructor. So battling was nothing to me. I loved to fight. So when the reptilian put me under sleep paralysis, he quickly put some type of device. This was a device slash entity. So this device had life force in it, but it was a negative type of device. He put it within my stomach, in my midsection, and once he started to push that device in me, the left side of my face shape shifted, and I felt nothing but negativity, like anger, and then it was something spiritual within me, within my very being, my very soul that said, "Fight this." Then I began to think about martial arts and how to meditate, and I began to spiritually push this device back out of me. After I got pushed that device out, this reptilian disappeared just like that, quickly disappeared. But I think what this reptilian was trying to do, I think he was trying to body snatch me. I think he knew about the ability that I had and wanted to obtain uh, my body.
Oh wow. Let me just pull this up real quick. It's probably not this one, this device. Like a crystal.
Yes, it's something like that. But it was a little thinner than that and smaller.
Oh wow.
That is exactly what it was, but a smaller version.
All right. So
Very good.
so we're assuming that that's David Chase, his artwork, by the way. So at this point, I guess you're being recruited into these reptilian programs as a super soldier. Do you have memories of training with other children, like perhaps like wooden swords, and or maybe we should just begin. What's your next memory? What do you think?
As far as that, I don't think my higher self. I think that I came in with a specific mission, and that was to be a light warrior. Um, I even joined um, a martial arts organization, and it was called the Warriors for Christ, and this was a Kempo. So it was already ordained for me to have a specific mission, and that was to be a warrior for humanity, for the light. So I was always gonna clash, but you cannot tell a reptilian any of that. They will try to either force you to switch sides or try to eliminate you. And it got to the point where we were clashing all the time. So this is when I started noticing about the Montauk stuff and time travel, because I could astral travel to certain places and I can be there just like that.
All right. Well, back up here. Do you remember being in these pods? That's what they were called, but like they're a large cage with a bunch of other black colored children. Do you ever remember being any memories like that?
Don't have memories of that, but it resonates with me.
Because yeah, there was this one program that I was in, and they had these other kids, black kids, but the ones that weren't successful were utilized for a drug that rhymes with a popular Google browser, unfortunately. But I'm glad that I guess you were able to graduate from all that. But so let's see here. I guess now we're going to go into Montauk. Do you have an idea when they might have first taken you from Montauk? Were you a child? Or
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And it's the same thing with James and Max. They too. I remember Max. I don't remember James as much, but I get the feeling that we have met. Like when I connect to his information, when I see his face, there's there is a memory just sitting there, and I can feel it, and I know that I've dealt with him. Now, of course, James decided to take the dark, so we're gonna clash when it comes to our missions here. So, but as far as Max, me and Max were born the same day and maybe a few hours apart. He was born December 23rd, 1976. I was born December 23rd, 1976.
Okay, so that would have put you around Generation 5 if you were utilized as an Ultra Soldier. Do you know what I'm talking about? Ultra Soldiers? Generation Super Soldier?
I'm not familiar with your information on that, but as far as these projects and what I've known them to be, of course, it lines up perfectly.
Well, did a lot of people that were in Montauk started off on Project Ibis? Are you familiar with Project Ibis, and do you have memories of being in cages with a different animal?
I have one memory of being locked away, and it was in a cage, but I don't recall a lot of that stuff. I would have to retain that by going under hypnosis to recover a lot of those dark memories. My subconscious is not bringing a lot of that stuff forward, but I know of these Montauk projects and being a part of the psychic programs. But as far as them locking me away, um, putting me up against other kids. Now, I have fought for the Illuminati's in these underground octagons. So, but as far as being a kid and doing that, yeah, I don't remember a lot of that.
Are these octagons where like other children are pitted against each other in these pits?
Or... these are very gifted fighters, not like what you see in the today's society. These guys are modified in so many ways. They can morph into other animals, other species of ET or hulking out. And that was the type of. I'll just tell you about this one story. Um, this very rich Illuminati guy. Now he owns a lot of skyscrapers. He built them in New York, and this was New York that this happened. And as you go into on site of this facility, his workplace is covered. You can't you can't see it with the naked eye. So when we go in, I'm seeing all these guys stacked up on these wooden plaques, and immediately my mindset is that I'm ready to get to them, and the fight haven't even begun. So we all jacked up, ready to fight each other, and I'm seeing 4 or 5 guys, but there's like 10 more other guys on the ground with me. But my attention was to get to the guys that was at the top of that wooden plaque. I scaled the wall as if I was some type of animal. And once I got to the guy that I had my eyes on, I quickly grabbed him and threw him off. And,
oh wow!
Yes, and then that was before the octagon fight. Now that was my altar hadn't even come front center for the fight. Haven't even come front center, but I was already in a ready state to fight. Okay. So once I was switched off, once that altar was switched off, everything went blank. But I knew that we went underground.
Interesting. So has there ever been a time where you maybe got in a fight here on planet Earth and you blacked out and then everybody was staring at you? Did you ever witness anything like that?
I've gotten in several fights where I could not control myself. That was another altar that it took everything. It took me to pray to break this this altar, because if I had not have done that, then that altar would have killed that guy.
Wow.
I was at that point.
Well, tell us more about how you integrated your altars, and we'll actually maybe start with how many altars do you think you might have?
Of course, we have human altars, and then we have animal altars as well. And we have what we call super soldier altars. There's so many altars that get fractal into our subconscious, and then they can be called forward to participate in different projects. So it all depends. I don't know exactly how many altars I have, but the American people need to realize, whether they remember a lot of this stuff or not, more than 500 million people have altars and they have no idea.
So that's what you're estimating the total amount of people utilized in these secret space programs? It's about 500 million?
Probably a little more.
Oh, wow.
Probably a little more, because there's a lot of colonies out there within space, and they need a lot of bodies to do certain things off-world and on-world, to fight or to participate in these other projects. Now, wow. I've actually turned down military projects. Projects.
You mean the military recruited you in the here and now and you turned them down? That kind of thing?
Well, they tried to, but I've always been a part of these military projects. I've been a part of these military projects, but the one thing I like about my group is that I keep my free will intact. So they allow me to keep my free will as long as I'm serving a purpose for humanity, and I choose what I would do and what I will not do, and that's because of the karma that we collect is huge. It's huge. Now, I will not kill a human being, but like I said before, I can go out there in space and kill ETs all day, and there's only a small fraction of karma for that. But to kill a human being within this earth realm will cause a lot of karma. That karma you have to pay back. Now, I've dealt with Trump as well. You know, I've helped Trump out in some of these projects in Space Force. But the one military mission that I turned down was when they wanted me to kill some drug dealers. And I grew up in a poor neighborhood, and most of my neighborhood friends, their older brothers, they sold drugs, but they were good guys. I knew a lot of these guys. So, and I'm thinking, you know, I'm not going to kill someone just because they made a poor choice in life, you know, due to their surroundings and the circumstances that they are under, trying to make money. Yes, it's not a good thing to be out there selling drugs, but when you become a statistic of your own environment due to how our government runs the system, then, you know, I'm not going to hold that against them. You know, I'm not going to kill someone just because they made a poor choice in life. So I turned down that mission of eliminating drug dealers.
Oh, wow. So that's amazing. So tell us more about your connection with Trump. What can you tell us about him?
Now, I got recruited to join Space Force. And, of course, you know, once, you know, you're in the presence of Trump, which I like Trump, you know, to do something like that, of course, you're going to be a little bit excited about it. So
well, maybe you could start. Where did you meet
Trump? Headquarters.
Where did you meet him?
Yes, I did meet at Space Force.
Was it actually?
That was the first time I met Trump. was that
embody or astral? Are we talking embody or astral?
This was actually embody. Now they do the same thing. They can operate in the astral. Now this particular time right here was physical at Space Force, but when they put you back, when they take you, they are look just like I said on Journey to Truth. They already know about your gifts. They know about this stuff, just like the email that I sent you with the remote viewers. They already knew about me. They knew how to locate me, contact me, and this is government projects that they want to hire me. But when I got to Space Force and I saw Trump, he just clapped, you know, he just clapped, and so I sat down at this table, and I noticed that this girl that was signing me in, she worked at my gym at that time. She worked at the gym that I go to in the here and now. She was a receptionist there. So, and I didn't want to ask her, what is she doing here? I was just so excited to be signed in. But once all of that stuff happened, I, you know, came back. You know, they wipe your mind and then they put you back. And so when I saw her at the gym, I wanted to say something, but I didn't want to look all weird at this girl and ask her about this Space Force stuff. But she looked at me as if, do he remember? She looked at me as if, do this guy remember what happened? That's when I knew the gig was up.
So what you should do is maybe go in there with a recording device and introduce yourself and just let us know how we'd like to hear how the conversation goes. But tell us more. Okay, so as far as where did the actual meeting take place? Was it on this this Navy space station that's cloaked and just above us orbit? No. Where do you think it was?
James?
Yes. What's that? Did anybody else hear? Maybe we're not supposed to know.
I'm telling you, this is what happens all the time. I had trouble even getting up here to talk with you.
Okay, so we'll just skip where it was. But how about when? What do you think was in the here and now, or do you think he went to the future? What do you think?
No, this was the here and now, and this was maybe a couple of years ago. This happened. Trump was not. Well, Trump is still legitimate, the president. You know, we know that Trump, the election got stolen.
Be careful. I had a video deleted by but yeah, just use coded words.
Okay. Let's just say, in our eyes, as a human society, Trump is still president. So, damn, James, now you made me forget my thoughts.
Oh, sorry. So we were like, when were you going to meet him? Was it okay? So it was in here and now. He's still giving out orders, and yeah. So what I like to know, like, what do you think the plan's going to be? What's the switch? When are they going to, I guess, bring us into a 5D space civilization?
Well, this is what this is what we are trying to do right now, and it has everything to do with this war that's going on right now, because they are fighting over ley lines. Now these ley lines have a lot of the stargates. Now they want control not only of the negative stargates, but they want control of the positive stargates. They do not want Biden. Can I say Biden?
That's now,
fine. He does not. Well, we all know that Biden is controlled by the Dracos. Biden is a part of the Reptilian bloodline, and for the longest time, they had control of the Democrats and the Republicans. It didn't matter which side. It was good cop, bad cop is what they played from both sides. But Trump is a part of these bloodlines as well. So, but he is a part of the organic timeline that we are supposed to be on as far as going through these transitional stage of moving up into a galactic community. Trump is the one that's supposed to bring us up into this galactic community. Biden does not want that to happen. He wants everything to be shut down. Humans go back into sleep mode, and we stay dumbed down and be under a new world order type of slave system. Trump will bring in a new society that's better for humanity, but it can go either way with Trump. Trump can decide, hey, I no longer want to fight for the light. I can switch to the dark. So what humanity must understand is they have to stop giving their free will, their power, their ability to, be a human society, because we are feeding this net. We are feeding this we're feeding their system. So that's one of the things humanity has to remember, to go back to working with each other and not going against each other.
Awesome. All right. So I guess we'll just if you tell us how the story ends, and when I guess you wouldn't be as much fun. So great. Can you actually tell us more about what the Alliance actually is? Because according to my records, the Alliance doesn't, the term Space Force eventually changes the name to Space Alliance around 2055 or somewhere around there. So Space Alliance, or whatever, it doesn't exist yet as in the name Alliance, but it's my belief that maybe they're sending people back in time, so they actually are here, but they're not here in public. So can you comment about that? Well, tell us, what do you think Space Force is? Space Alliance. Yes. Oh my God, that's the Alliance. Tell us what do you think that is?
It is a conglomerate of positive forces. It comes from high dimension to extraterrestrials to a human society. This is a global effort to combat these darker agendas, these dark alliances. So when we're dealing with, let me explain first. When you're dealing with interdimensional beings, you have good dimensional beings and you have bad dimensional beings. Well, they fight it out. When it comes to extraterrestrials, you have good ones and you have bad ones. They fight it out on their level. When it comes to human hybrids and star seeds, we fight it out with them as well. And when it comes to just a human line that's good and evil, we fight it out on those levels. So it's the same thing with Space Force, the Navy Alliance, Earth Alliance, and these galactic communities. Is all one net of us coming together and combating these dark forces. That's what that is. We are fighting. This is what we call a spiritual war, because it's all soul evolution.
All right. Well, as far as like when did it emerge, I guess it's always been here, but maybe just not in that name. Or maybe it is that name now.
Well, time does not exist. So you're looking at past, present, and future all coexisting at one time. But I get what you're saying. There's a time and a place for everything. Now, I can't pinpoint, from a human point of view, I cannot pinpoint when these conglomerates started to merge and work together. Now, we can all say that the white hats have been here working from behind the scenes, not just on Earth level, but under the Earth as well. Inner Earth also, you know,
There. Oh,
uh,
you, well, okay. So let me, while we're waiting for, I don't know, I guess his camera might.
yes, I knew
Well,
once I started talking about inner Earth, that was going to happen.
so the inner Earth beings are going to come out and help us.
To a degree, they like to stay private because they have their own things going on down there. Now there is a Thor line down there, and then I've also connected with um, the tall Amazon people, females. Now there's a subscriber of mine. Her name is Jill, and she is a part of the Amazon females tribe down there. But the Olden line is down there as well. Now they go interdimensional. They do trade with the inner Earth people.
So these Amazon women, they exist. What is it like Wakanda, where there's a pocket reality in Africa, but this is in South America? Is it like that, or are they actually inside the planet, under the planet?
They're inside the planet, and they have a tribe. They have their own civilizations. They don't deal with um, no other beings, not unless it may be trade. And they don't do much of a trade. They have everything they need within their society, and they are powerful warriors. Yeah, you don't want to mess with them. Those females don't play, bro. They do not play.
Awesome. As what about Wakanda? So Renetta Jones and I were working on a project to try to explore whether it exists or not. And basically, what we see, it's deep in the Congo area, and there's dinosaurs guarding the portals. So it's extremely dangerous to try to go there in person in the Congo to try to enter this pocket reality. But I don't know, Rob, if you have any intel on Wakanda. If not, we'll just move on. What do you think? Move on. You there?
I would have to connect with that information in order to
Oh,
bring it down from the cosmic web. Now, uh, I would have to speak with her and see and get a feel of what she know. I can read her mutagenetic field, her human resident, and if she has information within her her soul matrix, I can pull from her the same thing that I did with you when it came to that quantum guy that you are connected with. So I pulled that information from you as well.
so it's like a spokes on a wheel. There's a central aspect of me, and I'm just like one of these other sub aspects.
Yes, and this particular guy that you are connected with, he exists everywhere, and I guess that's what that the atom symbol that was on his chest. And what that tell me is that he is a part of you in all of your timelines, but he is viewing you and watching over you like a oversoul. Even though you have an oversoul, he's acting more like that.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right. Well, let's see let's go look at our else on our agenda here. Oh, I know. How about Solar Warden? So it is. Let's see here. So I believed, for a lot of the people that come on the show, we've established that Solar Warden, it existed before 1983, but it was either 81 or 83. The Secretary of Navy created Solar Warden as basically a division to compete with Nachtwaffen, because essentially the Germans went off into outer space and they colonized all the breakaway. And they went back in time. Now there's about 100 trillion people in the breakaway. Most of them are German, so the Americans wanted their own breakaway, even though it did exist. Project Winterhaven, I think it was called, before Solar Warden emerged. So, is the Navy Alliance, the Navy, I guess Space Force, is Solar Warden basically a division of Space Force, or what can you tell us about that, Solar Warden?
Well, Solar Warden was kind of created, and for a long time ran by both positive Nazis and negative Nazis. They both needed that duality to go out into a space and colonize, because what others won't do, you will find darker beings that will do it. So they needed someone that would take on a more darker mission, go out there and explore, and whoever they encounter, eliminate. Yes, that's a bad thing. But if you are going to evolve, if you're going to evolve as a human race, and want to see your race elevate, then you're going to have to do some bad things. So Solar Warden was a part of going out there, kicking some ass, and establishing their own colonies and trade system, because um, the bad guys didn't want human society out in space at all. So they are a conglomerate now of all these other higher military projects for the light.
Interesting. Okay, so you are confirming that Solar Warden is a, I guess we can say, more positively aligned organization, although they still abduct people, utilize them in 20 and backs and put them back without paying them. But
That's right. That's right. Now I need my money, man. You need to pay me. I was thinking about that a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, man,
well, how much?
pay off my
How much
house,
they owe
man.
you? How much do you think they owe us, all of us?
Man, James, don't even get me on that, because if they really paid us when it comes to human work, if they paid us on a human instead of out there in the credit system, they will owe us millions of the things that we have done uh, to help them. They will owe us millions. I'll be good with $100,000. I'm good with that.
Right. So I think one of my alters, they promised him $45,000 a year. So when you multiply 330 years, it comes out to quite a bit. But yeah, I don't think they paid us at Montauk, so we can maybe deduct 30 years from that.
Especially
Yeah,
when they do age regression.
Exactly. And so, and then at the end of each 20-year and back, you would be, I'm guessing that you would sit down with a caseworker. It would probably be a tall, blonde German, like 6'5". Will sit down and say, "Well, we're sorry. We're actually going to send you back. We lied to you. I hate doing this, but I have to do it." And then they put you here? What is it? The shock hammer, where they tap your pineal gland. Do you remember? Do you remember when they debriefed you and sent you back?
No, of course. Like I said, you're gonna have to go if you don't already retain those memories at a certain time. You will get them over time as you get older, because of that lapse of whatever technology that they use. It wear off, and you do certain things within human society will trigger those memories. It could be a phone call. It could be uh, a certain voice or tone that will trigger these memories to come back to you. So, but no, I do not. Now, what I do remember is the more harsh military stuff. Like if I go out there and kill a being, then of course I'll retain that memory, because it's more harsh. You're gonna remember things like that.
Oh wow, yeah. So my alter on the moon, James Ring, was mad at me because they basically told him that I was selling my DNA to get money. So off world, they're lying to our different aspects, and they think we're getting paid and we're not. So just basically the whole system is just layers and layers of lies, and that's partly my mission here. Maybe I guess you two, Raw Cloud, we're on a similar mission to let the public know that this stuff is real.
Of
And
course.
yeah, and that we I think it's not really just being recognized and being paid. It's also coming clean to the public, because they can do this to your children and your children's children. I mean, it doesn't end until somebody stands up and says no more.
Exactly. And the one thing I like about the positive interdimensional beings, I connected some time ago with the positive Anunnaki, and you talk about giants. These guys were fucking giants, man. They were huge, and there was like three or four of them all lined up, and they shared a telepathic bond with each other. So when and they wanted to give me this information because they know that I don't care what group you are, you're not going to threaten me. I have a mission to do here for humanity. And since I want to do a good job, I'm going to cover all of it. And that's where it comes with the hats that I wear in my video. You will see a gray hat, you will see a white hat, you will see a black hat because I have to cover all angles of disclosure. Some of the stuff I'm going to disclose is not going to be pretty. The white hat stuff is going to be, okay, but when it comes to the gray, there's going to be a little bit of both. But these particular Anunnakis were telling me that every man, woman, and child on Earth should not have to struggle or strive as hard as we've been doing. There should not be anybody poor because the government, once you give your blood, if you go to the doctor or the hospital and they take blood from you, even if it's a little tube, that little tube is worth a mountain in gold. And these other races off planet will take that and the government will give you nothing. The government is getting paid by off-world society either through technology, precious minerals, gold off planet. We're talking about big time stuff.
So that's why your birth certificate bonds are worth billions of dollars, and they only give you a tiny little bit, like maybe give you a little welfare check or some Social Security when you get older. But but they keep the rest.
Yeah, and that's nothing to uplift your life. They take more than they give.
Exactly. And the thing is, when you talk to the average person and tell them there's birth certificate bonds and you're actually a slave and we're all basically in debt. Even if you pay off all your bills, you're still in debt. They just don't quite get it, and we're trying to help. Well, anyway, okay. So let's go back. Do you think we can maybe backtrack to let's go back to Montauk?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Great. So tell us more about what you remember about Montauk.
Now, I time travel back to Montauk, and of course, now we know that there was a lot of dark things that happened in these bases. It just wasn't good. But let me clarify one thing because we think that the military and the humans were the culprits, but no, you had Reptilian that oversees that.
Sorry, I'll stop screen share.
Well,
go ahead. So there's so you say there's how about more specifically a Thub and Draco?
Yes, and they visit that base quite frequently. Not as more as the Nazis, but yeah, man. The Navy really had their hands tied when it come to us certain projects, and Al, one of the programmers there, and of course Preston was also there too. Preston. Um, you know, they had to do some really bad things, and they too also was mind controlled. Anybody that worked there and was a part of these projects were mind controlled. And yes, a lot of kids did not make it, man. A lot of kids they died from malnutrition. They died from a lack of love. And when you're dealing with a child that still have all of these psychic powers that they do not want anyone to know about, yeah. Now, look, James, I know you're pretty cool with him, but yeah, man, I'm gonna be honest.
I'll turn it off so I don't traumatize anybody.
Yeah, that guy right there, man, he was a pervert. I'm sorry, James.
I'm going to share another one. Here, this one. Yeah, so when I was there at his house there, he wanted me to stay behind to do another session on me. But I don't